Hey, welcome back from the weekend and welcome to day 5. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I've tried to record this a couple times and I could not get it down to 5 minutes. So this is going to be just a little bit longer today. I wonder if any of you has ever been asked the question, and I'm betting that you have, how do I grow closer to Jesus? Or how do I walk closer with him? How do I take my faith more seriously? I'm guessing that there are 3 particular elements that show up almost every time in the answer that you give. They have in the answers that I've given and the answers that I've received. And those are to read your Bible, pray, and go to church. I know there's more to it, and many of us, we give more to it, but those elements seem to show up in nearly every answer that I've heard in my lifetime. But rewind this, and there was another piece that would have been every bit as common to show up in that list of, hey, here's the things that you do to grow closer to Jesus. You want to take a guess as to what that was? I don't have a lot of time to give you time to guess, but if you want to guess now. It was fasting. So the answer would be read your Bible, pray. They wouldn't necessarily have said go to church, they would have said be part of the church. That's for another day. And fast. Now, day 4, we left off with some Old Testament history and what fasting looked like in the Old Testament. But what about the time after Jesus walked on the earth with us? Here's the really, really sped up version of what that looked like. While he was walking, I mentioned the other day that there was the practice of a twice a week fast, meaning 2 days every week you wouldn't eat anything until sundown. Not sunrise, not wake up and have breakfast, but until sundown twice a week. And after he died, and after he rose, and after he ascended into heaven, they didn't stop. In fact, in a very early New Testament or post New Testament Christian but non-biblical text, we even see the command to the early church to fast on Wednesdays and Fridays and 2 full days before baptism. There's a lot to unpack there about how seriously they took everything and how serious they took baptism for that matter. But again, that's for another day, another conversation. Now, when Lent as a practice came in somewhere around the 4th century, it was actually originally practiced as a 40-day fast, meaning 40 days of not eating until sundown each day. Today, church traditions that practice Lent and practice fasting during Lent honestly practice more often the version of abstinence, meaning no social media or no TV or no pop or soda or Coke, whatever part of the country you're from. But it all started as no food. But fasting is still very vigorously practiced in some areas of the church throughout the world. Eastern Orthodox churches, the Coptic Christians in Egypt, in India, in Iran, in Africa. In fact, even within our country, many African American churches and immigrant churches still practice fasting as a vigorous, diligent practice. Those places are where the church is, like Acts, is adding to their numbers daily. I'm not saying that they're adding daily because they fast, but I seriously wonder if fasting could be part of it. I wonder if in our pursuit of convenience and comfort in life, we dropped fasting simply because we just don't like being hungry. In our pursuit of convenience and comfort, we've dropped gathering as the church as often as they did. It went from being daily to maybe once a week because we don't like to miss out on other things that are going on. Really, in our pursuit of convenience and comfort, we allow our Bibles to gather dust because maybe we don't like to read. In our pursuit of convenience and comfort, we forget to spend time with the one who provides ultimate comfort, and as a result, it just feels really foreign to pray. It feels like I'm just talking to a wall. In our pursuit of convenience and comfort, we've dropped one practice after another. And maybe you haven't completely dropped it, but maybe you've started to. Let's pause here for today. Let me say this. I am not throwing stones. And when it comes to fasting, I have very rarely fasted. And when I have started a fast, I've too often not followed through, and the reason being because it was inconvenient and it was uncomfortable. But I wonder if maybe that's exactly why it's important as a practice. I hope you have some time right now, but if not, I hope you'll take some time throughout the day to just reflect on a few questions and what's been said here. And those questions would be, how have you set aside practices of Jesus because they're inconvenient? And the second question, has setting aside these practices, has it made life more comfortable? Or does comfort still always just seem to be just a little bit out of reach? I just can't quite get there. For most of us in the church today, we didn't set aside fasting as a practice because we never started it. And in our lifetimes, it was never a practice that we were taught or that we saw other people practicing, that the church had in its rhythm. So it was never part of a daily rhythm of life to practice. But we have dropped others, or we're in the process of dropping others. Maybe today is the day to start picking some of those back up. I will see you tomorrow.